Morning, everyone. I need to change that waiting screen, don't I? I just went live to the members for a quarter of an hour and realised I've got an old picture of Kevin De Bruyne and Rashford on it, so I need to change that. Dan and Gordon, I hope you're doing well. Oh, OTW185. Good afternoon, mate. I'm glad you found my channel. Whereabouts in Vietnam are you at the moment? My flatmate is currently, well, he's in Hanoi at the moment on some travels. So yeah, good to have you in from Vietnam, mate. I'm good, thank you, Gordon. I've got a bit of a special day today planned. I bought my dad for Christmas. I bought him and I hospitality tickets for Bristol City this weekend as a Christmas present. And we've got the game today against Queen's Park Rangers. So we're doing it's 80 quid a head, which I actually thought wasn't too expensive, considering it's like 30, 40 quid for a normal ticket. It's about double the price and you get a hospitality. But yeah, really excited for that. Should be good fun. So that's my day. And then I've got a swimming competition tomorrow. I've shaved, look. I've got a clean shaven face ready for my swim tomorrow. So that should be good. Sorry about that, Shaniel. Looks like there's two lads from South Africa in here. Daniel and Shaniel, you both, I believe, from South Africa. Bell or Van Heck, I'd start. Ooh. Flip a coin, B-ball, checkmate. Flip a coin. That's always the story with Bristol City, Dan Hilton. We get we play well against the good teams. We always show up against the good teams, but we don't. What am I trying to say? We struggle against the lower championship teams. I don't mean that in a disrespect for QPR, but it's just realistic about their position, right? They don't keep the ball on the ground. They play long ball football and stuff like that. We really struggle against teams that do that. So, good God. I hope we do all right. But yeah, time as a Bristol City fan at the moment has been pretty good. The only game in recent memory where we got played off the pitch was against Leeds. And Leeds, I think, are almost cheating in the Championship. Those three, to be honest, Southampton are probably Championship standard, but Ipswich, Leicester and Leeds are a joke for the Championship. They're the best three teams I've ever seen in the Championship, without a shadow of a doubt. That's Millwall football, that, isn't it, hoofball? You got Tom Bradshaw up front, who's a bit of a nightmare as well. We always struggle against Bradshaw. Good morning from the Solomon Islands. I don't even know where they are. That's quite cool. I'm going to Google that, Craig. You on holiday or something, or is that just your permanent residence? Where is the Solomon Islands? Is that in the Pacific? Now, that is... You must be on holiday. That's very cool. My girlfriend did a gap year in New Zealand last year, and she went to the Cook Islands. Oh, I see. You're like, it's by Papua New Guinea. That is awesome. What's the weather like there at the moment, Craig? Laura, good to see you in the chat. Dan, how many double game week players people got? I'll show you my team. 2 secs. That's how we're looking this week. Not great, I must say. Not great. I'll go through. I've got a quiz. I've got Draft Hound expected points data. I'll have a look at like 5 people at a time's teams like I do every week, but not quite yet. I'll go through all the stats first. But I'll talk to you about my team. So somehow last week I ended up in 80,000th overall, which I'm quite happy with. Got Porro and Udogie in defence. Both of them have been called injured. I think I'm obviously gonna transfer one of them out because I can't field an 11 without them. I think I'm gonna sell Pedro Porro just because Udogie's cheaper. That's the only distinguishing factor I have between the two. And I think rather than buy all of the tools are telling me to buy Nathan Ake, and for this week and probably next week I get it, but I think I'm gonna buy Gabriel instead. I don't know about you, but Nathan Ake, beyond the next couple of game weeks, every week I see him in my team. Even this week, I'd be worried about him playing. They just always think Akanji's played there. They've got Sergio Gomez who could play there. They got so many players that could still play that left-sided defence position. I do think Ake probably plays both games of the double. But Gabriel, he's got more goal threat. He's got Burnley away. He could feasibly keep a clean sheet and score a goal in that game. And you do not have to worry about him starting game on game after that point. Whereas Man City, you don't know who's going to play. They've been shipping the odd goal pretty much every game. Chelsea could score against them. Brentford could score against them, right? That's my thinking. So I think I'm gonna go against Ake and get Gabriel. That's going to be my move. I don't know what you guys think about that in the chat, but that's what I think I'm going to do. And the reason for doing that is, again, like I said, I just don't have to worry about him starting. Although I might get Ake still. Still a little bit undecided on that one. Rudy, thank you very much, mate. Should I play Estupinian? Yeah, a couple of people have had that. A couple of people have asked a similar question. Someone asked me Van Heck or Bell. What do other people in the chat think? Would you start a Luton defender or would you start a Brighton defender? What does the chat think on that one? Because I've got to say, I'm 50-50. Bowen to Jota for a -4. It depends what your team looks like for Gameweek 26. I'm starting Bowen this week, as it stands. Gabriel or Watkins? This week I say Watkins. I'd always favour a striker. It's fine. Well, with my team, Freddie, I'm gonna free hit in Gameweek 29. That's my thinking anyway. I just don't see another opportunity to use the free hit, so I might as well just use it in 29. But I guess with that in mind, I could get Ake. No. Gabriel, I'm stuck on Gabriel. Estupinian or Gordon? I'd favour Gordon. I'd go Gordon. I think the only Luton defender I'd play above Brighton is Doty for his attacking threat. The rest of the Luton defence, you're going to be reliant on clean sheets. And who's their fixtures again? They're not quite as bad as Brentford, but they're not great. Yeah, Man United and Liverpool. Are they going to keep a clean sheet in those games? No. So I'd say Doty, because he could get attacking returns. But the rest of them, no. How many doublers have I got? 1, 2, I got 4. Doesn't feel that exciting, does it? I could get Ake just to have 5, but no, I would start Palmer, Shanuel. I am currently worried about having Palmer on my bench. I can't justify starting him. I get above Bowen. I think Bowen can do well this week, but I'd start. I'm personally worried about not starting Palmer. Do Bravkett and Watkins for Flecken and nah. Like again, it's just my opinion. I think the double game week in 25 is overrated. Just saying, particularly for Brentford and Luton. I had a graphic that it's not there anymore. But how many points is Flecken realistically going to score against Liverpool and Man City? I know he got a 10-pointer against Man City, but he's not that good of a goalkeeper. He really isn't. Brentford are one of the top teams in the league for expected goals conceded, but one of the worst teams for actual goals conceded. And that's because they've got this guy in goal. I think the Man City game this season was a misnomer. Because he's the only... I know they kept clean sheet on Wolves away, but I just don't like it. Sorry, Gordon. Tony's definitely worth a punt. I picked Tony. The Luton player I really like is Morris as well. I really like penalty takers because regardless of what happens in the game, they've always got a chance. Have already used Adebayo -4 for Saka. Nah, don't sell Saka. he plays next week. Adebayo doesn't. Don't be doing that. No, really. I'm gonna buy a player this week that plays in 26 and then go with 10 next week. I'll go with 11 next week. I'm not planning. I don't think I need to take a hit. I'm gonna rely on Charlie Taylor against Crystal Palace. What's Porro and Mubama to Branthwaite and Tony like? I really like Branthwaite this week. He's got a Crystal Palace. I think he's decent. And he plays next week. I wouldn't be selling a player that plays next week, personally. Ake for Porro's good. Tony for Watkins, much of a muchness, really. It depends who you'd want long term. Morning, FPL Cortex. I hope you're was it your back you said you did, or was it your knee? I can't remember. I hope you're doing good. Yeah, Shaniel's done well out of Morris. Fair enough, mate. He just ticks all the boxes. He's not going to like pull up trees and score 20 goals in a season, but he is going to get penalties. He's a real handful, and he plays every game that he's fit for, right? You just don't have to worry about him. Palmer, Porro, Dubravka to De Bruyne, Doty, and Kelleher for a -8. Nah. Don't like it, personally. Agree, Dan. Yeah, Taylor's in training, FPL MFZ for Burnley. I've seen a picture of him running in training, so should be fit for... Don't need him yet, but we're hoping we need him fit for a few game weeks' time. I think he'd be fine. The thing is, yes, it's good for Man City, but who is going to start and get good minutes in all of those games? And the reason I'm slightly put off by Ake is midfielders, right? If a Man City midfielder doesn't start every game, but they get minutes, it doesn't really matter because they can just come off the bench and score goals and get assists. But if, for example, you've got Kyle Walker or Nathan Ake, and either of them don't start a game, that basically negates any points they're going to score because you can't keep a clean sheet. You can't get the clean sheet points if you don't start a game. And they're not really that good for attacking returns either. So I agree on the underrated for City, but they're forwards and midfielders rather than their defenders. I think Alvarez is really, like, no one's buying Alvarez this week, and I think he could be... I can't justify bringing him in, but I think he's a really good transfer with the injuries that Man City have. Start who out of Reguilon, Estupinian. I like Gabriel. That would be my view. Don't have Haaland, triple captain De Bruyne. Could do. I would probably give it to Jota. I think Jota's my second favourite player this week, if you don't have him. But then De Bruyne is a decent shout as well. Or you could wait till 28. Good FPL Cortex. Glad to hear you're doing well. Do I need a -4 for Saka? Nah, just do it next week, mate. Just wait till next week. Would you move Bernardo to Jota? Nah. He plays next week. Jota doesn't. You'd be in a hole next week if you do that. KDB or Salah for vice cap? KDB. Am I going mad considering KDB and Trent to Salah and Ake? A little bit going mad. I would sack off the KDB to Salah transfer because we don't know if he's fit. And I'd do Trent to Ake. Yeah, Tom's giving you the tip, Owen. If you go on your... So I'll show you as well. So you need to do it in a browser. If you go on your points, you get an URL, and then there's a digit between entry and event, and that number is your FPL ID. Yeah, exactly, Freddie. And that's the reason why I don't think I'm going to bring him in. I think that's why I'm going to go Gabriel. Feels mad hedging against a double game week player, but I think it's the smart thing to do. Also, I'm not saying he's injury prone. But that's Ake's injury history. He's not been injured this season yet. No, that can't be right. He's been injured this season, hasn't he? I'll do some teams in a sec, Gordon. See, I just have a feeling he was out for a period of time this season, wasn't he? I might completely off my head with that. Maybe not. No, he's not too bad for injuries, I guess. Fair enough. Still, I just think there's too much rotation there in that Man City defence, even with Guardiola out. When we look, who could play in that left-sided defence position? Obviously, Ake, he's a top scorer as well. Wow. Well, Akanji can play there. Diaz is left-footed. Lewis can play there. Gomez can play there. There's still 3 players that can play those positions, right? All right. I see everyone's asking for it. So in the interests of complete fairness, I'm going to type in the chat doing 5 team reviews from here. I'll wait a second because there's a delay. I'll press send in a sec. And then the first 5 people to reply, I'll do their team. Right, it's him. Bloody hell. Alright. I caught the 5. So Matthias, Boo Boo, Dan, Nils, and Dakshin. That was insane. I'll do those 5 if that's alright. It's a bit hardcore doing... The reason I'm keeping it 5 at a time is it's so hardcore doing like 20 teams in a row. Because after a while, it's like reading, like, I don't know, trying to revise for an exam or something, right? They're just all look the same. And it's so hard to treat them individually without a little break. So 5 at a time seems to work really nicely. So I'm going to do 5 at a time if that's all right. We'll do, I've got some stats to share with you. I'll do a little FPL quiz as well. We've got our weekly quiz. And then once I've gone through all that, I'll do some more teams. How does that sound? Matthias Kangashka. And yes, I can imagine if I think of the average viewer of this stream and the entire experience of the live stream for them is looking at other people's teams getting reviewed, that could get a bit boring as well. So I have to balance it all. I hope you can understand. First of all, I'd say you've got a real dilemma between Areola and Dubravka. Draft Hound are not kind on expected points for Dubravka. I would start Dubravka. I think regardless of how they played recently, Newcastle are better than West Ham. So let's do that. Second up, you've got 3.8 million in the bank. I would probably start Estupinian over Branthwaite. So that would be the move I'd make. Rest of the team is really nice. I've got to be honest, mate. I don't see a need for a transfer here at all. Team looks fine. You're not overly loaded up on Liverpool. You could do an extra Man City defender, but like I said, I think the argument is I don't think Ake's worth it. I think you'd constantly be worried about him playing if he was in your team. So I'd wait till next week for your transfer. I don't think you need to make one. That's the team I'd start with. If you've not used your triple captain already, especially in 105k, I would use it on Erling Haaland, I think. But yeah, you don't need to do anything with that team, in my opinion. Just start with this. I'd argue, could Darwin be a better vice than Foden? Or Jota be a better vice? Possibly. FPL boo-boo. Okay, this one's a little bit more interesting. Honestly, I would probably do Pedro Porro to Saliba. Or Ake. If you fancy Ake, go for it. But I personally think Saliba is better. So I would do Pedro Porro to Saliba, bench Gusto. And then you got a question. I mean, based on your feeling, I don't know what's up with Gabriel Jesus because I don't own him, I'll admit. So I haven't followed the news on him. We'll just see what everyone's saying. Is Gabriel Jesus definitely out? Anyone in the chat? He's done Darwin in for Jesus, have he? Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, if you've done Darwin in for Jesus, that's a nice transfer. Yeah, I would do Darwin in for Jesus and then Saliba in for Porro. Thanks for making me realise he's got 3 Arsenal players. Melvin. That's how I'd do it. Darwin in for Jesus, Saliba in for Porro. Dan Hilton. Anyone else that put their ID in? Sorry I didn't get to you. I'll do another round of team reviews after the quiz and some stats. That's all right. Blimey. Yeah, nothing I'd do with this team. Looks great. Looks absolutely great. I would triple captain Erling Haaland and leave it as it is. And you've got probably 11 that play next week. And if you don't, you'll have 2 frees to deal with it. So, yeah, I'd leave your team as it is. Consider Watkins to Darwin, but it's probably not worth it, really, with your team in mind. Lovely team. There's nothing I can say there, Dan. It's a really nice team. Oh. My laptop does a funny thing where the screen freezes sometimes. And there's nothing I can do to fix it. And it's just done it now. I don't know if anyone else has a MacBook, but you move the window like up or down and it just freezes your programs. You can't click anything on the screen. And that's what it's just done here. And now I can't actually do anything on my laptop. Yeah, sorry lads. Hopefully I'll get to the bottom of this. Get a Windows laptop. Yeah, fair enough. I'll take that one on the chin. I've just got a MacBook. I think it's like a 2019 MacBook Pro. I bought it refurbished. It's not an issue with the MacBook. I think it's just the fact I don't have enough USB ports to use a mouse. So every single stream I ever do, I'm using a trackpad for it. Right, what I'm going to do, I can't even mute my mic. I'm just going to turn my camera off so I don't look like a retard. And then I'll just try and sort this out. There we go. I think I've just fixed it. There we go. Fixed. All right, we're back in the game. Sorry about that, lads. I'll just check that we're back. Hopefully we're back. So whose team am I looking at? This is Dan Hilton's, isn't it? Yeah, lovely team. Let's move on. Let's do Neil's. I kind of have a USB hub, so I've got like a 4-port USB extender. One of the ports is broken. One of them's got my mic in it. One of them's got my camera in it. One of them's got my light in it, and one of the ports is broken. So I'm a bit dodgy on my equipment at the moment. Nils. I mean, great team. Who would you start, chat, out of Palmer and Solanke? Definitely don't need to make a transfer here. But who would you start out of Palmer and Solanke, chat? What would you say? You bought Tony. Fair enough. Well, that's that decided then, isn't it? That's that decided. Right, what we got next? One more team, Dakshin. I need some advice on an outfit as well, because the dress code for the hospitality today is smart casual, and I was planning to go with what I'm wearing at the moment. I've got, before we do this team, I've got a quarter zip, and I've got some, like, I don't know if you can see that, I've got some beige cords on. I think that's smart casual enough. I think I'll let myself in. I reckon there'll probably be people dressed scruffy. I couldn't show my full body on camera. I might have to work out a way to do that. Give us a spin. You got a spin. Sorry, chat. I see there's loads of messages there. I'm just keeping tabs on the people that sent me their teams. I'll catch up with it in a second. Dakshin's team. I mean, is there anything you should do with this? I mean, potentially, but where? Like, the one thing I could say you could do is bring in De Bruyne, but I can't see an obvious move to make to get him. So Dakshin, I reckon you just leave your team as it is, roll, and then go for next week. Or you could do Udogi to Saliba and start him over Botman. You could do that. That's the only transfer I've got for you, mate. Or Ake and start him over Botman. That's the only thing I've got. Did you guys want to do a quiz? That's 5 teams done. You guys fancy a Premier League themed quiz? I've got 4 quiz questions. Bit of fun. I think Bradley will play. What we will get, definitely before the deadline, I'm pretty sure is a Liverpool leak, because Liverpool are the first kickoff. So if there was ever a time to get a Liverpool leak, it's this week. One thing I'm going to do as well, I'm just going to quickly adjust my camera, because I'm not very zoomed in at the moment. I feel a little bit small on my screen. So I'm just going to change that. But hey, look, I'll zoom myself in. Woo! There we go, that feels better. I know, hopefully my stream didn't freeze when I zoomed myself in then. There we go. All right, we're going to do a quiz. So, the first quiz question. Hopefully an easy one, but I didn't actually know the answer to this. I had to check. Who right now is the top scoring player for points in FPL? Is it Ollie Watkins? Is it Erling Haaland? Is it Mo Salah? Or is it Heung-min Son? Who has the most points in FPL right now? Abdullah's answered Salah 3 times. He must be pretty sure of the answer there. Couple shots for Salah, couple shots for Watkins, bit of Haaland. I think Son is a bit of a misnomer there. He's definitely not the top scorer, is he? Let's think about it logically. I'd play Estupinian over Moreno, mate. Why not? I think he's got more chance of a clean sheet. Maguire. He's done all right recently, to be fair. Good old Harry Maguire. Mate, I definitely, Chris, I agree with your position. I'd definitely start him if I have him. I think across the game week, he gets at least 90 minutes. That'd be my thoughts. All right. I'd captain Jota. The answer is Mo Salah. He's currently on 156 points. Despite going away for a few weeks and being injured, he's still the top scorer in FPL. So next question, which player has picked up the most FPL bonus points so far this season? Douglas Luiz, Mo Salah, Pascal Gross, or Kieran Trippier? Who has accumulated the most bonus points? So not BPS, who has actually scored the most bonus points in the game? Everyone's saying Trippier. Interesting. I hope I've actually got the answer to this one right. Everyone's saying Trippier. Fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is Douglas Luiz. He's got 22 total bonus points. Although, I do actually want to check it, just to make sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure it's Douglas Luiz. I looked at it this morning. Bonus. Yeah, it is. There you go. 22. Trippier on 20. Salah 21. Gross 21. Douglas Luiz 22. There you go. Right, next up. So, you all know he's one of the best players in the game or whatever. But how many goals has Erling Haaland scored this season, right? He's a top scorer in the league, but how many has he scored? Is it 14, 15, 16, or 17? How many goals is Erling Haaland currently on? By the way, if you fancy a golden goal mug, you can check it out on my spread shop. Should be a link in the description, or it should come up as like a product list under the stream. Whenever people type in 16th, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a video of Nepenthes, who's a popular gaming streamer. He does a qualifying lap on an F1 game. And he thinks it's a really good lap. And he comes 16th. And he screams, 16th! Yes, mate, I'll answer questions. We're doing a quiz at the moment, Nikolai. The quiz is part of the stream. 16th! The answer is he scored 16 goals. Well done, everyone that said 16. Most of you know that. I've got one more quiz question, and then we'll have a look at some Draft Hound teams again. But don't put your IDs in the chat. I'll do my little chat message, and then I'll take 5 below that and cut it off. If that's all right. Next question, last one. So this is a bit of a history one. So of all the teams that have ever played in the Premier League, which one has accumulated the most losses in Premier League history? So think about the logic you need to work this one out. West Ham, Aston Villa, Everton, or Newcastle. Which team across Premier League history has had the most losses? Lost the most games? Just going to, while you do that, I've been sent my let's see who I'm up against in my races tomorrow. Bloody hell, there's loads of swimmers. Everyone's saying Everton. It is Everton. They've lost in total 443 games in the top flight. So there you go. Let me know in the chat what you got out of 4 in that quiz. Thank you all for taking part in the quiz. Let me know what you got. Before we go through the teams, I think it's probably worth a quick check of Twitter, isn't it? To see if we've had any leaky leaks. Well, Ben, I don't think Ben's in the chat anymore. Any tweets? Don't think we've got any news. Ben is here. I was going to help you with your team, pal. Quick look for Ben at his fan team. I'd sack off Konta. Got 3 free transfers. I would sack off Trent. I would sack off Konta. And I would sack... Actually, no, I'd sack off these 3 because they all blank next week. And in 29 as well. So I'd sack off your 3 starters. I'd get Gabriel. I'd get Saliba. And I'd probably get Doty as well. Actually, no, not Doty because you need someone that plays. Gabriel, Saliba. Ake? Yeah, get Ake. Why not? Get Ake. Gabriel, Saliba, Ake for Alexander-Arnold, Porro, and Udogie. That's what I'd do. Best Man City defender for the double. It's probably Ake, but I don't really like either of them. Oh, they play in 29. Of course they do. Of course they do. Probably sell Konta then in that case. Right then. I will, once again, take 5 more teams for a review from when I send the message. I'll leave it on screen for a little while because there's a bit of a delay in the stream. So you can all see when I've put it in the chat. Clement's been early. He's got in early. You can't be early. All right, there you go. It's just popped up in the chat. So 5 teams from there. And then I'll cut it off after I see 5. One, two, three, four, 5. So here's what it says for me, just in the interest of fairness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Owen Downs is the cutoff, I'm afraid. Gordon, I'm sorry, mate. You were very close. Laura, you put it in twice. You were close. I'm sorry. If I do miss your team, there's 3 ways you can get a priority team review if you like. Obviously, you can join the channel as a member. Every member that puts their FPL ID, I'll obviously look at straight away. You can also sign up to Draft Hound yourself in the description and get your view of this. If you want to put a super chat in, I'm obviously going to review your team as well. So yeah, sorry if you missed that. But 5 at a time, I think, is a fair way of doing it. So Rohith is up first. Yeah, I see your issue there. I'd flip a coin on it, Rohith. If you've got a coin in your home somewhere, grab a coin. Heads is Gordon, tails is Garnacho, and then do that because it's so hard. I would start Estupinian over Bell. I think I would. That's what I'd do. Bell ain't keeping a clean sheet this week. It's not worth it, in my opinion. He's probably going to get minus points in some of the games. So I'd start Estupinian over Bell. But other than that, team is really nice. I'd also start Dubravka over Areola as well. All right, Cortex. Bought Tony in for Watkins, fair enough. Yeah, really nice team. I've got nothing to say. It's a really nice team. He's obviously just wild-carded. Really nice team. I mean, nothing I can say. If you on your wild card this week or last week? Because if you're on it, yeah, you must be on it this week. It must be have been on it last week. Sorry, so triple captain Haaland time. But lovely team. I've got nothing to suggest. What it said on screen there is what you should go for, mate. It's a nice team. You have bench boosted. Interesting. I would triple captain if it was me. Spaghetti and beans. Whoa. Some injuries. I would do Pedro Porro to Gabriel and Trent to Ake. That'd be my 2 moves this week. Pedro Porro to Gabriel, Trent to Ake. And then flip a coin between Solanke and Palmer. I think that's really tough. Banner Boy, 479, 3256. Oh, Nikolai, mate. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. I will definitely look at your team. Not a problem. We'll just do Banner Boys, and then I'll get onto yours. Thank you very much. I very, very much appreciate your generosity, my friend. Banner Boy, I would do Porro to... Well, actually, no, I do Trent to Gabriel, and then the rest of the team is absolutely fine, mate. Trent to Gabriel, and I'd start Dubravka over Areola. Right, Nikolai. So we got to Owen. So we'll do Owen's after Nikolai's, and then that's our 5. I'll just check Twitter after that, because we might have had some leaks. There you are, mate. Thank you so much for your super chat and kind, generous donation. It's very much appreciated, my friend. So what are you saying? So Draft Time shows your team as it was last week. So if you let me know the transfer you have made, Nikolai, I'll do that in your team, and then we'll see how you line up after that. If that's okay, mate. So yeah, if you let me know the move you've made already, and then I'll do it, and then we'll work out your team from there. Because it sounds like you've already made a transfer. If you're looking at taking a hit, although I don't think you need to take a hit with this team personally. Are you there? Still there, Nikolai? Ah, there we go. Did Ake in already? So I'm guessing you did Porro to Ake. That would be my guess. So we'll get Ake in. Bloody hell. I definitely don't think you need to make another transfer. I would just do Dubravka in goal. I wouldn't start this Burke guy. I mean, is it Reece Burke? Is that who it is? I personally trust those 3. No, Shaniel, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I really appreciate that. We got 5 new members. Look at that. I must admit, I am a complete YouTube noob. So I have no idea what that means. Does that mean that Shaniel has paid for those 5 guys to have membership? If so, that's absolutely incredible. I wouldn't make an extra transfer, Nikolai. I think that's I think you'll sound as it is. It's a great team. I'd probably triple captain Haaland. Awesome. Shaniel, you're a legend, mate. On behalf of those 5, I'm sure they'll thank you. But yeah, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to give away those memberships. As a member, I do a 15-minute stream before this one to members only. And depending on when I get to make a video during the day, I'll usually upload between 3 and 5 p.m. I'll try and get an upload out tonight. But you'll usually get my videos a couple hours early as well as a member, just depending on when I can schedule the video, because I do work full time. So sometimes I manage to record the video before I start work, but then depending on how busy I am at work, it can get a bit challenging. So that's what you get as a member. And hopefully gifted something you'll appreciate. And thank you, Shaniel, again. It's very generous of you. I really appreciate that. Owen was next for the team reviews, and then we'll call it there for a second because it looks like we might have some Twitter leaks. 753. Just make sure that's right. 74. No, it's not. It's 743351. There he is. Oh my, what a team. What a team. I think this is Gusto to... Oh, no, it's not. It's not. I think you've got to do Watkins to Haaland, mate. Watkins to Haaland, Gusto to Saliba. Probably what I'd do here. And then triple captain Haaland, Owen. Oh, it does them at random. Oh, that's incredible. Well, there you go. What a nice, that's such a nice thing to do. Yeah, with this team, I bring in Haaland, definitely. And then I'd probably do... Because if you go Saliba, you're tripled up on Arsenal, aren't you? I just don't want to start Gusto. No, you can't. Yeah, but you don't have Haaland, mate. Unless you really want to go against Haaland, which I wouldn't advise. I think you've got to get Haaland this week. Unless you've got him already, Owen. Unless you've transferred him in already. By some means. But I think a triple up of De Bruyne, Alvarez and Haaland is really nice. Really, really good. And then you could just buy Watkins for Darwin back next week. I'd start Palmer over Cash, definitely. I'd probably do Zinchenko to Saliba and Watkins to Haaland this week. Why not? That's how I'd go with that. It's all right, Owen. Hopefully that helps you. I'm just going to check Twitter now if that's okay. Got any leaks? God, Noble Gent's been... He's in deep, isn't he? Look at that. Let's hide those messages. Oh, and another thing about my match day at Bristol City today, they're wearing a commemorative vintage kit because sometime, like, I don't know how long ago, they beat Leeds United, and this is the commemorative kit that they're wearing today. Oh, bloody hell, Ryan, thank you so much, mate. That's amazing. I will look at your team right now. Thank you very much, Ryan. Very generous of you. I think Cash is going to play this week, Ben, if you're asking me. Thank you very much, Ryan. What would I do with this team? No sponsors. Well, it might be a sponsor. I don't quite know how they're going to do it. Be interesting. So I'd start Dubravka over Areola. Shop Neil, thank you, mate. It's very kind. God. I definitely don't think you need to make a transfer. I mean, you could do Solanke to Darwin, I guess. Yeah, you could do Solanke to Darwin. Do Solanke to Darwin this week. Do you start Neto over Palmer? I'm not. Actually, yeah, you probably should start Neto over Palmer because Tottenham don't have any of their fullbacks, do they? So I think I'd start Neto over Palmer. I don't think the expected points for Neto reflect the defensive situation with Tottenham, if that makes sense. So with both the Tottenham fullbacks out, I think I'd put Neto in over Palmer. And as Ben said, I think you've got to take the attacking upside with Estupinian against Sheffield United and start him over Branthwaite. And then I think you could do, if it suits your team and you have, which I think it does, I think I'd do Solanke to Darwin. And then next week, you can do Jota to someone to cover for 26. I think I'd do Solanke to Darwin. If you do that. Bam. I'd do that. That's a nice team, isn't it? You've got 5 double game week players. Neto against Tottenham with no fullbacks. Estupinian against Sheffield United. Trippier against Bournemouth. I guess the only question, do you want to spread your defensive risk and start Areola over Dubravka? But, I mean, in reality, are West Ham more likely to keep a clean sheet than Newcastle? Absolutely not. So, I think I'd start Dubravka over Areola. I hope that works out for you, mate. But I think this is how I'd line up, Ryan. Before moving on, I'll just wait for you to put anything in the chat if you've got any other questions. Hugo, I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you, mate. I'll have a look at your. I've got to do it fairly. I'll do another round of five team reviews once I've checked Twitter. But Ryan put a super chat in, so I had to look at his team right away. That's just how it works. Hopefully that helps you there, Ryan, mate. You've already traded the Solanke. Awesome. To Adebayo. He's bought Adebayo. Wow. I think I would buy Morris in your position, you know. I can see looking at your rank, you've had a few unlucky game weeks, mate. So, yeah, fair enough. And I guess with Adebayo, he plays next week, doesn't he? So it makes sense. I think I know it's done, so I can't it's done now, isn't it? I think Adebayo's just fine. But I probably would have gone Morris just because he's on the penalties. I think Adebayo is probably more likely to score from open play, to be fair. But Morris probably just has the penalties, doesn't he? Thank you very much for your super chat, Ryan, and I hope that my thoughts there helped you out. I obviously say as well, I just offer advice on people's teams, right? I never claim to be an FPL expert. My overall rank is 80k, so it's decent, but not like the best in the world. I just hope that my advice gives you something to think about in the way I try and always back it up with a bit of logic as well, rather than just my opinion is right, because who knows, right? Ultimately, FPL, you're betting on outcomes that haven't happened yet, so. Lee Brunt has done a minus 16, bench boosted. Bloody hell. Up the Robins indeed, mate. I will do that right now, Ben. I can't do next 5 games, though. I can do next 3. I can't do next 5. You want defenders? I think Ake will be top, mate. But you probably want to cover 29 as well, don't you? There's your top for next 3. I can't do 5. There's your top for next 3. What an interesting list. I don't back these. I got to say, I don't back these Brentford guys at all. I think looking at those fixtures, Estupinian's the best. Personally, Darren Weaver, my personal... if it's my personal replacement for Porro, and I'm in a similar position. This also answered Juntal's question. So is my team. Is Estu nailed? That is a good question. I don't know. I'm going to do Pedro Porro to Gabriel. I could do Ake. All of the tools and expected points, etc., are saying to get Nathan Ake for Porro. But for me, if I bought Ake, right, I would be consistently worried about him not starting. If I had him this week, I'd be worried about him not playing one of the games. 26, I'd be worried about him not starting. 27, 28, so on and so on. If I bought him in Game Week 25, I would always in the future be wanting to sell him. Whereas if I bought Gabriel, who I don't own currently, or Saliba, if I already had Gabriel, I wouldn't be worried about them starting, and I wouldn't want to sell them, especially because I'm free hitting in Game Week 29, right? So with all that in mind, I think I'm going to do Pedro Porro to Gabriel. And if you ask me who is your best replacement for Porro, it's whichever one of Gabriel and Saliba you don't currently own, if that doesn't triple you, if you're not already tripled up on Arsenal. De Zerbi, like, I don't know what do you guys think about De Zerbi? He's in a bit of a predicament at the moment, isn't he? He was looking like a football genius when he first took over at Brighton, but they're struggling. I don't think they're that good at the moment, Brighton, anyway. Fair enough, spaghetti and beans, and I guess in your case, Lascelles definitely ain't playing anymore, is he? So it makes sense. Already taken a -4. I just don't think there's any point, Owen Murphy, if you've got a three defenders that play. What's the point of taking another hit? I mean, who are you going to start Ake over, I guess is the question. Up the Robins. We're in this kit. Probably going to lose today. Right. Bloody hell. Dwayne Chambers is going to race at the age of 45. What a legend. Though he is a drugs cheat, though, so I don't know how much of a legend you can call him. I'm not seeing any... Oh, no, that's not my... that was my Twitter engagement strategy back in the day. That was big, popular accounts to reply to. So I'll give you a little... Oh, that doesn't work so much anymore. I'll give you a hack, right, to make some money out of Twitter. Because I tried it, and it was successful, but not worth it. So the secret, right, if you get Twitter Blue, it's a little money-making hack. Although the bots have taken over and cottoned onto it too. If you buy Twitter Blue, you need to get, I think it's 3 million, or was it 5 million tweet impressions in 3 months, and then your tweets can be monetized. So what you can do, so I did it, right? It's a bit cheeky, but you can basically, if you find all the popular accounts on Twitter and reply to them something funny, and lots of people see the tweet, the algorithm pushes it to the top. You get the tweet impressions. But now, whenever there's a popular account, like a football team account that tweets, it, let's see, for example, with loads of bots with Twitter Blue that do an AI generated reply, was a defender, stuff like that. AI generated reply. That's how people are just making money basically with Twitter bots. There you go. Fun fact. I'm just going to look to see if there are any leaks. FPL Gundo saying Salah doesn't start. That was the trenches. No, I don't see a leak for Salah not starting, other than FPL Gundo tweeting it. I guess he is relatively trustworthy. Let's just catch up on the chat. Who to bench? I'd bench Palmer, Boo Boo. Rate my team. We'll do that in a sec. You'll put your ID in. Just want to try Tony replace Watkins. Yeah. Oh, you want in the in this? You want to try that, do you? So you did. I'm not sure about Tony replacing Watkins. I'm not sure about because of the fixtures that Watkins has, mate. I think you keep Watkins. Cortex, if you're still in the chat, what was your source for the leak? I appreciate the info, but I just want to see it myself. All right. Should we do 5 more team reviews? I'll just wait for it to show up on my stream. Right, so I'll do 5 team reviews from the point that this message goes into the chat. So, in the interest of fairness, Retrosco, I don't know how he managed it, but he got his team in twice. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Juntao as 5th. And that was our 5. I appreciate everyone sticking in your ID. Hopefully, I'm conscious of upsetting people, but what I don't want to do is make the whole stream me reviewing people's teams, because that's not a good viewing experience for everyone else. Second of all, it's really hard to look at like 10 different teams, really think about the best transfers to make on them. So 5 at a time works quite nicely. But if you want me to look at your team as a priority, you can join the channel as a member, send in a super chat and I'll look at that straight away. Or you can find Draft Hound, you can sign up to Draft Hound, get this view with a link in the description below. So there's 3 options if you miss out, if you still want to get your team reviewed. But we're going to go ahead and look at Retro Squo. Ooh, this is a nice team, this. I like it, mate. I'd consider doing Zinchenko to Gabriel and start Gabriel over Moreno. Without Villa having, they don't have Kamara, they don't have Carlos. I really don't think they keep a clean sheet against Fulham. Whereas I do think Arsenal keep a clean sheet against Burnley, and I like Gabriel. Just my thoughts. Other than that, the team is really, really nice. I'd triple captain Erling Haaland if you can. Gordon, catch you later, mate. I'll take your team review out then because you got in there. But I'll do someone else's instead then. I'll take Safwan. Yeah, in that case, Retro Skull, I'd go Gabriel instead. I just prefer Gabriel in general. I think he's got more goal threat as well. That's all right, Gordon. You don't. No pressure. If you want to stick around, I will look at your team. This is Hugo Hansen's team. I would start Dubravka over Leno. Triple Newcastle defence, though. I think I would. I still think I'd triple up on Newcastle defence over starting Leno. I mean, it's a really nice team. The one thing I'd consider is maybe doing Porro or Trent to Gabriel, but you don't need to start Gabriel over any of these. You could start him over Share, though, if you wanted to. Ultimately, that's a really nice team. Oh, you don't have Haaland, do you? Oh, you've got to do Watkins to Haaland and triple captain Haaland this week. You've got to do that, Hugo. Watkins to Haaland, triple captain Haaland. It's got to be done. Gordon, before you go, let me look at your team. Owen, yes, you could triple captain Solanke, but the thing with the triple captain for me is it's not that strong a chip. Also, what if Solanke got injured in the next couple of game weeks? What do you do with your triple captain chip then? I just feel like when the opportunity for a double game week Man City player, best player in the league probably, going to be probably the top scorer in the league this season, going to start both games, I think it makes sense to go for Haaland. Because imagine the scenario, right? Imagine the scenario where Solanke gets injured. You're done for, aren't you? When do you use your triple captain after that? I think it's really hard. Whose team am I looking at now? This is Gordon's, isn't it? It's really nice. Like, nothing I do with it, to be honest. I'd start Dubravka over Areola. You got the double up of Arsenal, which I really like. I wouldn't go too mad on getting any other doublers in. I think it's fine because you need to be well set up for next week. And then next week, you've got 2 frees to bring in some players, sort yourself out. You've got Botman first on your bench. You definitely don't need to make a transfer. I'd also triple captain Haaland as well. OG Eng. Probably start Dubravka over Areola. It's a really nice team, this. I probably wouldn't make a transfer. I mean, you could do Gross to De Bruyne or Richarlison to De Bruyne. Or you could do Palmer to Foden. You know what? I'd probably do Palmer to Foden and bench Gross. But then that's so hard. Palmer to Foden's the only transfer I'd make there. And that feels a little bit of a luxury given you've got Gross against Sheffield United. That's probably where I'd be with that. Juntao was the final team. 667. Gordon, been a pleasure, mate. Hope you have a good weekend too. I'd bring in Saliba for Trent or Porro. Decide who you want to get rid of, and then roll the other transfer. Start Dubravka, triple captain Haaland. That's what I'd do. You could also do Solanke to Darwin if you wanted to. Could do that. But I'd probably do Trent to Saliba, and then maybe Solanke to Darwin. Nikolai, because Alisson has got a hamstring injury, so he probably misses both games of the double. So that's why people are considering Kelleher. But you want my opinion? I think without Alisson in the team, Liverpool get significantly worse defensively. Personally. There you go. There's Salah not starting for Liverpool League. He still gets minutes though, so I wouldn't buy him, but I wouldn't sell him if I had him. If you've kept Salah for this long, he could really reward you. But you can't buy him if you know he's not going to start, can you? So yeah. Spinion Klopp says the rumours suggest Bradley at right back, but he's not confirming that. Spinion Klopp would be my source for Liverpool leagues, unless FPL Tony or Main Road tweet. Go on, Paul. Look at Shanuela. I got a topless picture of Lewis Hamilton and everything. I'm joking, Shanu. I know that wasn't you. By the way, Sarah Sjostrom, right? A swimmer. She could be probably the best athlete on the planet right now. She is absolutely ridiculous. Just wins everything. She could, right? She could feasibly, this is the world championships going on in swimming right now, right? Don't know if you know much about swimming, but she could conceivably win the 50-meter freestyle final swimming butterfly. She's that fast. I think Haaland's going to play both Sarah W. So Mauricio Pochettino is saying, attack, run, and challenge Man City. Haaland triple captain, please. Watch him get injured after 10 minutes or something. Change Tony for Watkins. Want me to go back to your team, pal? I don't think. My whole point is I don't think Watkins to Tony's worth it. We can do a player comparison if that helps. We do a player comparison for you. So you want Tony and then Watkins. So here's your comparison between the two. So next 3 game weeks, even though he's got one less game, Watkins is expected to score more. Next 5 game weeks, Watkins is expected to score more. So expected points for this week, Tony slightly better. Next week, Watkins, and then every single game week afterwards is Watkins. Hopefully, rather than put him in your team, doing that comparison helps you. That should be something to look at. I just don't think Watkins to Tony is worth it. Watkins has a game in 29. I just think Watkins is great. I just don't think you can justify that. Just my view. It's not worth it, especially for a hit, which I think you'd have to take. I don't know who that is. Who is that? Is that a good source? Does anyone know about FPL Adam? Is that a good source? Yeah, that's a good question for the chat. In your opinion, who is the second best English centre forward right now? And if you had to choose between Tony or Watkins, that sort of gives away what I think my answer is. If you had to choose between Tony or Watkins to take to the Euros, who would you take? Have I seen FPL Tony? Has he tweeted, has he? No, he's not tweeted yet, mate. Unless he's done a reply. You think Watkins is awful? Blimey. I think if I had to choose between the two, I'd take Watkins because Watkins can play a couple of positions. But if I was going solely goal-scoring striker, I'd go Tony. Watkins' finishing leaves quite a bit to be desired, in my opinion, but he can play in multiple positions. What? 5 p.m? Why are they stopping it at 5 p.m? Anyway. I agree on Watkins. His People don't realise like how physically good Watkins is. He doesn't look like it's similar to Darwin. They're not massive guys, but both of them are an absolute handful. I'm not sure you can tell me Watkins is awful though. I mean, he's got what's that? What's his stats like? He scored 11 goals, 14 assists from 11.3 xG. So he's got 25 attacking returns in 24 games. I think he's brilliant. For England, though, I guess, yeah, he's not going to be starting, is he? But I think he's a good player. And he's still, how old is he? 23? Oh, he's 28. Oh, okay. Don't know why I thought he was a young lad. But, yeah. His career is quite impressive as well. He's gone the lower leagues and up. Exeter, Western-super-Mare. I really like him. But his finishing could be better, I reckon. It's also like, I know it sounds easy, but kicking the ball into the goal under pressure is the most difficult thing to do in football. It is. I don't care what anyone says. Finishing is the hardest skill in football. It really is. I think he probably is, Ben. Conser, Porro, for Robbo, VVD, and Gabriel. Oh, no. Oh, actually. No, I would play Palmer and Van Heck over those, personally. Trent to Ake, Gordon to Foden for a -4. I don't actually mind that, you know. That's a decent hit, that. If you're going to take a hit, Chris, that's a good hit to take. Although I reckon, no, you need the funds, wouldn't you? Yeah, I don't mind that. Watkins only tends to score when it's 2-3, 4-0. You know what? Apart from 5 attacking returns against Brighton. It's a fair point. How many, like... Yeah, but still, I don't like how many winning goals has he been involved in, I guess, is a question. But I still think he's mustard. Oh, Tony is single-handedly going to keep Brentford in the Premier League this season, I reckon. Without Tony, I think Brentford will go down this year. That's why they didn't sell him. I think Núñez is different gravy, honestly. It's only a matter of time before he sorts his finishing out for Liverpool. And even then, this season he's got 8 goals, 9 assists from 15 starts. That's still really, really good. Right, go back to Twitter, see if we've got any more leaks. With all of these early deadlines, is it quite hard for you to go out on the weekends? It is, but I don't go out, so it's all fine. I don't do nights out or anything like that. I'm a swimmer, so I train on a Friday night, go home, have a sleep, do a deadline stream, and then I go to the football usually on a Saturday afternoon. People have heard this story before, but for Christmas, I bought myself and my dad hospitality tickets to Bristol City. And we're going to the game today in hospitality, so I'm going to leave. I might have to leave just before the deadline. We'll see. Depends how many leaks we get. But yeah, that's my afternoon. But I don't go out anyway. I don't drink because I swim. I can't. You can't be an athlete and go out. That just doesn't work for me anyway. And I got a swimming competition tomorrow, so I definitely can't have a night out before a swimming competition. Still no news. Watkins is a glorified Núñez. Barbie Army with a Watkins bashing. Thank you, mate. I also think nights out are massively overrated. Or drunk nights out are massively overrated anyway. Yeah, Darren, I'd probably do that. I had a similar discussion about someone's team. And I just think Tottenham, if you think about it logically, without their fullbacks, yeah, Tottenham without their fullbacks, going to be interesting. January, I've never done it before. I just sit in a normal seat, so it should be exciting. I'll get a buffet. Should be good. Former players are going to do a speech who I've never even heard of. Should be good. Nah, well, it's obviously an opinion basing Malte. I guess it also depends how old you are, right? I'm not to sound like a, cause I'm not a guru on life or whatever. But when I got to about 24, I'm 26 now. A couple of years ago, I got proper hangovers between the ages of like 16 to 22 when I was going out quite a lot. I never really got hangovers. I just felt a bit tired and had a bit of a headache. But ever since a couple of years ago, I feel terrible after I drink. Like, absolutely terrible. My body just shuts down and I get really like mentally low. It just puts my mood like right down. And it just makes drinking not worth it. So I go to the pub. I do all that. Go to the pub, see my mates, whatever. I just don't really go to nightclubs because I think they're a bit rubbish. And I don't drink. I just have lemonade and water. And I still go out and be social. But half the nights out, I must say, when I got drunk for, I don't remember, to be honest. I used to pre-drink with my mates in a house until like 1 a.m. Go out at 1 a.m. and I just don't remember. And then I'd be like £100 poorer the morning after, not know where my money went. Yeah, Kelleher for a -4 is not worth it. Personally, I feel without Alisson in the Liverpool team, I think they get so much worse defensively. Alisson is such a good goalkeeper that he probably, every time Liverpool have kept a clean sheet this season, I think you could probably attribute it to Alisson. I really do. I think he's that good of a goalkeeper. Any news? Salah doesn't start. There's rumours that Bradley's going to start at right back, little by little. But I haven't seen anything yet. That's why I'm scrolling Twitter right now to see if we get any news. I'll put my team back up for a second. I'm going to have 4 doublers. I could have 5. I could go for 5, but I think I'm going to buy Gabriel this week. Again, I could get Ake, but if I bought Ake, I'd just be constantly worried about him not playing for every week that I owned him. So yeah. Neil's like, we say that about every Man City player, though, don't we? And also, there are so many people that can come in to replace him. Akanji, Lewis, and Sergio Gomez can all play that position. I agree, Malte. I mean, I think that the double is overrated. I've obviously got a couple of Liverpool players, but I don't see a reason to bring in Van Dijk. No idea about Gomez, Liam, I'm afraid. I'm going to free hit in Gameweek 29, Malte. Unless anything major changes, I think I'm going to... free hit. Adebayo to Darwin for a -4. Definitely not. Stick with Adebayo. Salah or Luis Diaz? You've got to say Salah, haven't you? Got to say Salah, I think. Wait and see if Salah's on the bench. If Salah's on the bench today, I think Salah's better than Diaz. Because if Salah is benched today, I think he might get good minutes in the next game. And long term, you probably want Salah. If you can afford both of them. Trent to VVD, or I'd get Saliba, mate. I'd get Saliba. I think the Arsenal defenders are better than the Liverpool ones. They're the best team in the league for expected goals conceded. Obviously, Van Dijk is nailed. But I guess it depends on if you can field 11 players for Game Week 26 if you buy Van Dijk. That's the question. If you can't, then get Saliba. If you can and you're comfortable with your team in Game Week 26, you could probably get Van Dijk. But without Alisson in the team, I don't think Liverpool keep clean sheets. I really don't. I think both Brentford and Luton could feasibly score against them. No, I haven't got... the only Liverpool news I've got is a rumour from a leak account that Bradley's at right back. And people saying that Salah does not start. Oh, I'd Sork and Jep. I would play Estupinian and just do one of the moves. I would buy Gabriel as well. Oh, Salah. Oh, no. I think it's almost time to lock in my transfer, really, isn't it? I'll just check. There's no Gabriel news. I don't think there is. I think he's going to play. My God. Oh, no, he's welcomed Gabriel to his team. I was like, he sold him. Why would you sell him? Hopefully that happens. There you go. No player scored more header goals than Gabriel this season. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it now. Right. Who to play? Burn or Meg? I play Burn. Pick 3 of the following combination. Oh my God. Honestly, Ben, I find that really hard. That is, the players you've picked there are the right options to bring in, no doubt about it. But there's so little in it between them, I couldn't really possibly tell you. It's so close between all of them. It's so close between all of them. Honestly, mate, do a spin the wheel or something like that. I can't pick. I can't pick. I think you need to take that decision out of your hands. I agree on the Bradley info, definitely. You get some info on him starting, that kind of change. And the fan team deadline is kickoff, isn't it? So you can just wait for the Liverpool lineup. KDB or someone else. The thing for KDB is, even if he doesn't start, he'll get minutes and perform. So I wouldn't worry about De Bruyne, to be honest. Do you think Flecken, Walker, Jota and Foden score more than 16 points? Yes. But if you're looking at taking a minus 16, they have to score 16 points more than the players that you're selling. Unless all of the players you're selling are injured, of course. But I do think that those 4 players you've mentioned score 16, I agree. Boo Boo, I am of a similar predicament. A similar predicament. I don't know. I think we've got to see how they get on today. We've got to see how they get on this week without Kamara. I agree with Ryan. They're not that good, but there's not really an outstanding defence at the moment, particularly goalkeeper-wise. I'd start Richarlison over Palmer, mate. I'll do a poll. There's your poll. Not got any lineups yet, mate. I'm trying. We see, check Emma jump the wave, shall we? I'd start Richarlison or Gordon. Chat, what do you think of George's question? Would you start Richarlison or Gordon? Yeah, got you, Ben. I'll flash it up. So there's Chelsea at home. And Brentford at home's down here. So take that one in, Ben. That's Chelsea at home predicted lineup. Brentford at home predicted lineup. Interestingly, he's got Ake 90% to start both games. Just not sure. That's what he's saying. Brentford, Chelsea, Brentford. Doku. Oh, don't like him. I don't like Doku that much, I've got to say. Triple cap Phil Foden. If I were to use my triple cap, well, I'm going to use my triple captainship, but oh my god, I would use it on a penalty taker. Surely the guy you give the triple captain armband to has to take the penalties for their team, right? That's just my thought. Also, did anyone see the West Brom manager touch the ball when it was on the pitch last night? Absolute insanity. Right, I think I'm going to make my transfers. I can't see a clean sheet for Reguilon either. Oh, Lee, that's a rough one. I would definitely sell Allison and Trent as part of it. Maybe Palmer as well, but Douglas Luiz, I'm just not sure it's worth it. Would you take a hit? I can't read that message, Alan Peck. I have to wait for someone else to chat. There we go. Take a -8 to get Haaland replacing De Bruyne. Nah, I wouldn't sell De Bruyne to get Haaland in. I'm going to do my moves. Porro to Gabriel. Or do I get Ake? Do I get Ake? Oh. Let's see. One thing that will help me. What are their fixtures? I think he's going to get over 10, Ben. I think he'll score a couple of goals. Minimum. Could do that, couldn't he? Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. Is possible. The thing for me with Gabriel versus Ake as well is the one doubt in my mind. One doubt in my mind is Ake has Bournemouth in 26 and Gabriel has Newcastle. Fuck it. Done it. I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. It's done. There we go. It's done, lads. I'm just going to tweet out my team a sec. I'd start Palmer. Even though I've just bought Gabriel, I would start Palmer. All dearie. I think my laptop could be about to freeze. Oh no, we're all good. Just doing my team tweet. I shan't be long. I have done Porro to Gabriel for what it's worth, as you can see there. Guardiola's injured. He would, but there's other options. Akanji, Gomez, Rico Lewis, they could all play there. Even Ruben Diaz can play there. We've seen Pep play 3 at the back in the past, haven't we? You know what I mean? So for example, when I saw Man City come to Ashton Gate last season, they played Bristol City in the Carabao Cup. Akanji started at left back. He started in the left of a back three. That's how they lined up. Just checking I got my... Yeah, he got the ball in the other half. Had a couple of chances to score, mate. It doesn't really matter who I vice captain, but who should I vice captain, chat? It was an absolute pleasure to see De Bruyne and Foden live, though. De Bruyne, he didn't even start the game. He came on with... No, he did start the game, actually. He took a little while to warm up, but my God. I've never seen a player as good as... obviously, he's just unbelievable. He scored from 30 yards out, but his shot went along the ground from 30 yards out, and it was unsavable, and it just pinged it along the ground. Trent, Porro, and Palmer to Ake, Dallo, and Jota. I don't mind it. I don't really like Dallo. I just don't see the point in doing Dallo this week. Nor would I buy Jota this week? Maybe. Or could you get another Man City player in? Could you buy Gabriel and Foden instead? Or Gabriel and De Bruyne instead? Just a thought. Dakshin, there are definitely other weeks to triple captain, right? I fully understand that. But right now, I just think we know Haaland's around. He's obviously got a little bit of doubt around him, obviously, with his grandmother passing away. But I'm pretty sure I read the funeral is on Thursday next week and the game is on Tuesday. So conceivably, he could do the funeral in a couple of days and then be back to play. Obviously, fully understanding that's a sensitive topic, and I'm not trying to make light of that, but thinking logically around FPL, that's the way to think about it. He's probably going to play both games. They're two decent fixtures. They're both at the Etihad. He's fit. I just think it's nailed on. And especially when you consider Solanke's in a few game weeks' time. He could get injured between now and then. If Solanke did his ACL or, was out for game week 28, what'd you do? There's a potential other double in 34 and 37. That's fair. You could wait till then. But at that point, is the title wrapped up already? Who knows? So, yeah. Just my thoughts. If you can use it this week, I'd use it. Bloody hell. Ross McCormack. That's crazy. He was top scorer in the Championship a few seasons ago. Leeds, one of Leeds' best player. Not seen anything yet. I agree on the Champions League, though. Yeah, Collis is crazy, wasn't it? I'd start Dubravka, mate. I just think you have to. I know Newcastle have not been the best, but they're still better than Newcastle, aren't they? Strong breakfast, that. Apart from the black pudding. We don't like black pudding here. Morning FPL Josh. I'm kind of tempted going Porro for Bradley, changing one game week 26 blank for another is a problem for me. I don't know Sorkin, Jep, and for that reason I went for Gabriel. I've literally bought Gabriel this week for that reason, mate. I don't think Salah plays. And with game week 26 being a blank for him, no, definitely not worth risking a differential triple captain because I just don't think it's worth it. You could score 10 points conceivably somewhere else. Well, what do people in the chat? I am a very risk-averse player, right? So I probably am terrible for answering that question. Temsar's comment there, chat. Temsar 2023. What do you reckon to that? The thing I would say is there another player that could outscore Haaland by that many points? I guess all you need is 3 points in total for that to be the case. Thank you, Nils. I appreciate that, mate. Lisa Marie, TAA, Porro to replace. Already have 2 Man City players. I'd prioritise KDB. And I think Gabriel's better than Ake because I had the decision and I went for Gabriel. Who to vice this week? Wow, you can see my vice captain. Who else do you have in your team, Alan? If I were to use the triple captainship, it has to be done on a penalty taker, in my opinion. Given Darwin is starting, would you bring him in for a hit? It depends. It depends what position it leaves you in next week. Palmer to KDB, TAA to Bradley, Porro to Gabriel for a -8. God, that could be worth it, you know. Those transfers alone, I think it could be worth it. Yeah, I think that could be worth it. I don't think there is an account for Brentford team news. I've not come across one, I must say. My Twitter feed should be pretty well tailored, though, to tell us. Where's the Bradley start leak? I've seen a rumour, but I've not seen a leaked account that I trust to say that he's in the team yet. Phil, I think you should get Gabriel or Saliba over Bradley if you can afford him. Not sure what you mean by that, Alan. You just listed some players. I don't know what to do with that. I've still got Eze in my team. Not sure when he'll be back, but he's my yeah, it makes sense. Alisson's got a hamstring injury. The thing I would also say about Liverpool is I don't think they're very good defensively without Alisson. I think they're significant. In fact, I think they're significantly weaker defensively without Alisson in the team. Like, significantly. Just my thoughts. Just going to check my dad's doing all good because he's going to get the bus to Bristol. Alisson's out. He's got a hamstring injury. So he's definitely not starting the first game. I think Darwin could go nuts. Just my thoughts. Garnacho or Richarlison for the bench? Garnacho. I think Richarlison's very, very good. No worries, Phil. So other defenders. It depends, Egan. I mean, it's for 1 week and that's it. So probably not. Oh no. Nunes, sorry, I've probably missed some of the messages there. Watkins to Nunes for -4, I wouldn't do. Not for a hit. So here are the top defenders for expected points for the next 3 game weeks. And I'm assuming how much you have in the bank, Phil. Because this is up to 5 million, so probably got a list there that's solid. Here's your top ones. I just can't bring yourself to get bloody Reggie on. I'm just not sure I can go for Brett. Look, Liverpool and Man City in a double game week. It's probably Bradley, isn't it? Let's be honest. Tell you what. Is Harry Maguire the worst pick in the world? Luton, Fulham, Man City. Is that the worst pick in the world? Botman, I don't mind Botman. Don't mind Cash, don't mind Villa. Tell you what, Wolves could be alright. Ake, if you can afford him. Bradley, if you can afford him. They're all decent. I quite like Maguire. See his recent points. I think you could do worse than Maguire. I won't lie to you. I know it's obviously a butt of jokes or whatever, but where is he? There he is. Last 3 games. 1 point, 6 points, 7 points. Attack and return clean sheet. 2 returns in his last 3. Actually, what's that? 3 returns in his last 5 games. It's not bad to be. He started 11 games and scored 50 points. So what's that? Basically 4.5 points per game Maguire's got. 4.2 million. 4.5 points per game. 4 clean sheets, 3 assists, 11 starts. Just a thought. Just a thought. I think every defence looks leaky, though. Apart from Arsenal, they all look leaky. Even Arsenal can be leaky, right? It's just my thoughts. I think clean sheets are going to be harder and harder to come by in football. I really do. No, my luck, bloody Martinez keeps one this week. De Bruyne, Alan. Definitely give it De Bruyne. But I would say if you don't have Haaland at this juncture, you could wait for a later double game week to captain him. That's all I'm saying. He could double in 34. Just got to decide your strategy now, really. I still think a -8 to triple captain Haaland could be worth it, like Josh says as well. The thing that makes me really uncomfortable, and this is my opinion, and I don't know what anyone else thinks, but a player that doesn't take penalties, I would feel really quite uncomfortable about triple captaining. It's just me. But a player that doesn't take pens, I'd feel uncomfortable about. I don't know what your guys' opinions are, but that's how I feel. You're going to bank it all, use your big triple captainship on a player that doesn't take pens. I think it's risky. I don't even like captaining a player that doesn't take pens, right? That's why I didn't give it to Watkins when he got his loads of assists. I think Haaland gets 3 returns this game week minimum. That's my view. I think they absolutely blow Chelsea out of the water today, or whenever they play them, and then Brentford will be a tougher game. I prefer probably Watkins and Bradley. Archer to Tony for a -4. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I like that. Quick look, see any team news. That's the thing with Bradley. Does he start twice? Because they got Gomez and Robertson now. So Gomez doesn't need to play left back. I think Gomez starts against Luton as well to deal with their physicality. Yeah, they've got another right back. They got Joe Gomez, mate. He can play there. I'm not sure, Josh. I think he could. Why wouldn't he? I don't. What if Bradley has a poor game? I think it's very much a possibility. God, bloody hell! I thought that was like an OnlyFans video or something then for a second, and I was going to get removed from YouTube. That's my one fear is I'm scrolling Twitter and then get like a nudie model show up, and then I get banned from YouTube. I probably should be a bit more clever when instead of scrolling Twitter. I think I'm done with team reviews now, mate. We'll have a look at. We're just keeping an eye on leaks, really. If you could start any goalkeeper for this game week, who would it be? Edison, probably. Probably got to say Edison. Edison or Raya. Sal Palmer or Richarlison. It depends on your chip strategy. If you're free hitting in 29, sell Richarlison. If you're not, sell Palmer. Who's this geezer? Oh, there's an Amanda Holden nudie one. We're not going to look at that. There's no way that's Emery. No way. I don't believe it. That's not real. Surely not. Surely he's been photoshopped. Yeah, you can see a bit of ring around his hair and a little bit of a curve on the bottom of the telly there. There's no way that's real. Surely not. That made me laugh. Interesting, Josh. I'll bear that in mind. Shoot any more questions? Doesn't even have to be FPL related at this point. I already have like sensitive content blockers, to be fair. Darren, I am indeed an F1 fan. You're also Shaniel is the biggest F1 fan I know. So both me and Shaniel, we should be F1 friends. I must say, at the moment, I'm less into F1 than I was in previous seasons. I'm just a bit less excited for it because we all know what's going to happen. And it feels like the most exciting season is next season already because Hamilton goes to Ferrari. I feel like this season is going to be much of the same. Aston Martin might be a bit quicker. Other than that, I don't see much changing, really. I don't know about you, what you think, Darren. Is Richarlison to KDB for a -4 worth it? I don't know. I pulled a funny face then thinking about it. Yeah, it probably is Banner Boy. Thanks, guys. How would you get Haaland in team with a midfield of Saka, De Bruyne, Jota, Foden, Darwin, Watkins, Alvarez? How would you remove? I think you've got to hedge against him in your position, haven't you? You got to hedge against Haaland this week. Good God. Hedge against Haaland this week. Look to bring him in later and save the triple captain. With a team like that, I think that's what you've got to do. That's just my thoughts, Alan. You've obviously made that team thinking that you don't want Haaland, right? I take Porro out for... It depends, Phil. If you're free hitting in Game Week 29, you should sell Porro. If you're not, you should sell Tsimikas. I'm very worried about KDB this week, I've got to say. That's the one player I'm worried about, but there's just no way I can get to him, so I'll just have to go without. The question you've got to ask is, does Hamilton sort out the issues they have with strategy at Ferrari? Does his brain, just being part of the team, sort it out? I don't know. The only time Ferrari were any good was when they had like British blokes doing all the strategy under Schumacher. That was their last like championship level team. Not saying that I just feel like the Italian way of working, it's just cultural across different countries, right? You know, you admire Germans for efficiency and stuff like that. Italians you admire for like their absolute passion and dedication to their craft. But they do seem to be a bit sloppy when it comes to making rash decisions around strategy. But I just think Red Bull have the best car we've ever seen. Is there what's changing in the rules in 2025? Is there a significant rule change in 25 or is that 26? I don't think there's much to know about it, Darren. I think payday probably. Mercedes are also probably realising that he hasn't got that long left. Their car's not going to win a championship. And I think it's almost like Man United selling Ronaldo, right? I know that didn't work out too great for them. But if you get rid of your big asset, it can help you plan for the future. I think George Russell is good enough to lead the team going forwards, right? So they could save a lot of cash on the Hamilton salary and spend it improving the car. I think it makes sense. Ferrari just chucking money at him, aren't they? Basically. And Lewis has always wanted to drive for Ferrari, and their car is better. So I think it's could potentially be a good deal for both parties. It's like Tottenham selling Kane, isn't it? That kind of thing. You know? That is basically it's like Tottenham selling Harry Kane. And look, they've gotten better. In my opinion, they're better than when they had Kane in the team. So yeah, could be something similar to that. I'm amazed that we haven't seen a Liverpool leak. Good night, Niels, mate. Good night. Have you used your triple captain yet? And when it, well, mate, there you go. Yeah, it's on Ireland. That's my team. I can't do anything to it. That's my team. That's how we are. I would start probably Estupinian, you know. FPL Focal had a Liverpool leak, did he? Andy Martin's done a leak. There you go. That's the best I got. That must be the leak that he had. Makes sense for me. That's what I thought the lineup would be. I mean, much for muchness in midfield. No one has Endo anyway, right? I mean, makes sense. There's your Liverpool leak. Anyone wanting it? Sorry that I didn't get it earlier. I guess I'm not a big enough content creator to get them yet. Oh well. I'll live. Anfield Insights. Interesting. I'm going to give them a follow. And if they are proven to be right, but they're not followed by anyone big yet. No. So we'll see. We'll see. Hope it goes well, Josh. I mean, so do I. He's in my team. Bradley or Doty? as Pedro Porro replacement. I would get Gabriel or Saliba instead. If you have them both, I'd probably say Doty, because he doubles in Game Week 28 as well. Would you start Palmer or Bowen? That's the last question I got. 4 minutes to go. Would you start Palmer or Bowen? Martinez or Dubravka, Palmer and Bowen are the other decisions I've got to make. Martinez, Dubravka, Palmer, Bowen. Am I making the right calls here? Ooh, I'm going to go a bit lower with the camera. There you go. Play Palmer, bench Bowen. I can't bring myself to do that. All right. Go on then. I trust in you, Cole. Forest class defensively. Hopefully we can get it up before the deadline. I'm going to go XGC for the last month. 1st of Jan, end of Feb. Whoa, Nottingham Forest are good. Man City, yeah, all right then. Nottingham Forest, they are the 3rd best team in the league defensively in the last month. West Newcastle are the worst. Oh my God. Thankfully, Villa are one of the worst as well. All right then. I'm with you. I'd start Steele. Don't back Villa at the moment. I'd start Lanky. God, I hope Newcastle keep a clean sheet. Even though I told you to start, so I'd go Palmer. Why not? Go Palmer. Clean sheet chance for Everton, pretty good. Jacob Diab with your Holden Malou Monaro. How are you doing, mate? It is the deadline though, so I've got nothing. Oh. Yeah, that's my YouTube stream key. Hopefully no one takes that and streams. I don't think you can. You need to log into my YouTube to do that. I just typed in Premier League XGC and it's called Understat. I use Draft Hound, FPL Review, and FB Ref for my defenders. Alan Peck, I hope I helped you, pal. Time will tell, I guess. You have a good weekend too. I'm hoping that regardless of what my advice was and how it works out, you make a good decision in FPL by having good logic, right? You can't control the outcome. So having good rational thought before the decision is all you can do. And hopefully that's what I've provided. Right, everyone, I'm going to go now. I've got to get some food in for my swimming competition tomorrow and then head down to Ashton Gate for my dad's Christmas present game in hospitality. So I will hopefully have a video out for you tonight. I don't know for sure if I will. I've got to give a lift to my dad back to Somerset, and then I'll have dinner there, and then I want to get to bed at a decent time because I'm racing tomorrow. So if everything works out okay and I've got time to make a video, I will. But if it's too late when I get home, I won't do it because I really want to have a good night's sleep before my swim. By the way, one of the best things you can ever do for good physical performance is have a good sleep the night before. So I'm going to prioritize that tonight if that's okay. So yeah, I'll hopefully either catch you tonight for a video or it'll be Monday. And yeah, I hope you all have a good weekend. Hope FPL is good for you. Big double game week, Haaland triple captain, all that jazz.